perspective looks like. This person you see here has got a big book in front of her, probably a student, and she thinks that she's really searching and digging and trying to find some information to help her be the best in what she's doing. But as you can all see here, she's blindfolded. So she can't really see well. She can touch some things, she can feel some things. She knows who she is, but she still cannot see. Her perspective has been blocked because something has blindfolded her. And the something that has blindfolded her in this picture here, in a real life application, could be anything. And so as you can see the things around here, it could be toxic and a toxic environment. For some young people, the environment you find yourself is so toxic that it doesn't help you to have a clear perspective of how you want to move on with your life. The friends you are don't encourage you. The relationships you have are not so strong. These are friends who come to you to just suck out of you and give nothing to you. Or maybe you might have friends who have got no passion, no vision, no purpose. And so it's like, you know what, let's enjoy today and you figure out what happens tomorrow. Or even for those of us who are maybe very spiritual or Christians or whatever, might even say, you know what, tomorrow is in the hands of God. He's going to determine how things will unfold. You might be living in a dark room. Some have got a closed mindset. This is what my father did, this is what my mother did, and that's what I can do. I can't break beyond that. I can't break beyond that. Closed mindset. This is too hard for me. I can't do this. So this is where I'm going to just keep my life. After all, I have been able to come to the university. Maybe I'm the first to be in the university. And so this is where I'm going to be. They have no sense of motivation. Motivation has been turned upside down for them. They are bouncing up and strong and vibrant today, but tomorrow, no sense of motivation. Dark room perspective. Even though within them are potentials and things they can unfold to live purposefully, they are darkened. And as I want to really emphasize this, I have had a chance of talking to a lot of young people across our continent. And, you know, like Elias, you know, we know, before you can get into one of our programs, for instance, the Equip program, you have to apply. We go through the applications and select those who qualify to get into the program. So it's a pretty intense process. Now we put out our advertisement across the whole continent, and so we get people from all over the continent coming. I have had a privilege of sometimes going through some of these applications. I'm not always involved. Some of the team members sometimes do it, but at least sometimes I want to get some perspectives. One of the common things I have seen is that a lot of young people across our continent, when I say our continent, I'm not talking about North America where I live, but I mean Africa, is that most of them, what makes them live in this dark room is that they have a limitation that has been placed on them by the environment. I am in Ghana, so that's the only thing I can do in Ghana. For instance, a good example, recently, one of my cousins finished high school in Ghana, and they wanted her to go to, university. She's very good at math. She's just like very good at math. And I remember talking to the parents. You know what they said? Oh, but as for math, you know, if you do math, are you not going to be a teacher? The first thing that came was that if you study math, you will be a teacher. And I asked them, who told you that if you do math, you're going to be a teacher? Dark room perspective. And so if some of us had not come in, they would have let this girl choose a different program, even though she's very strong in the area of math, because they think that if you do math, you will be a teacher. I told them there are endless potentials in the area of mathematics. A similar relation is that people pick careers or pick, live based on how things happen in their respective countries. Oh, I am in Nigeria. These are the only things that succeed in Nigeria. I am in Ghana. These are the only things that succeed in Ghana, Zambia, Mozambique, wherever it is. If you think that way in living your purpose, you are keeping yourself in the dark room. The whole world is for you. Some of you, of course, might have to be in Ghana, or depending on where your purpose is supposed to situate you. But for others, The world is endless. Potentials are endless. Opportunities are endless. I had a chance to study, did my first master's degree in Denmark before I moved to Canada to study again. I have done training for a lot of organizations and I've met a lot of people. It will marvel you to see that if you are able to really live a life of purpose and develop yourself, opportunities are endless across the world. So then don't let your environment limit how you dream, limit how you plan your life. If you keep yourself to that place, maybe studying math and being a teacher was 30, 40 years ago. Now things have changed. And so the other thing here is a closed mindset. Have an open mindset. Build knowledge. Don't turn your knowledge upside down. Look for opportunities. And that is why webinars like this are very, very important, because it helps you to unlock certain things in your life. Darkroom perspective will limit what you can do. It's not going to let you live a life on purpose. So now let's move on to the bright room perspective. In this next room that we're going to be talking about, same person, same people. Please, let's move on to the next one. Elias, if you can hear me. Are we good to go? So if you're moving, thank you. In the bright room perspective, your vision is clear, as you can see there. The lens is clear. You might not see something very well at the end, but at least you have a good picture of where you are going. And the difference between the dark room and the bright room is not so much about the limitations that people put around themselves. It is also about the mindset that people carry. Okay? The mindset that people carry. And the mindset in the dark room is totally different from the mindset in the bright room. As you can see here, the mindset in the bright room is problem identification and solution focused. People are not thinking of, you know what, I want to go to school, finish my program, get a job, live a good life, buy a car, stay there, and then get married, have kids, and then just enjoy my life. Those who live in the bright room, those who have the bright room perspective, are thinking of problems that they can be part of the solution. They are thinking of how they themselves could become carriers, agents of solution. And so they are not so much title oriented or position or oriented. They might have a PhD, but the PhD is not what identifies them. They are not just going to school to have a PhD to become a doctor of something. That is the title that might come with what they are learning, but their goal is that I want to be part of a solution to a problem that exists in the world. And because they are thinking of that, they can see ahead. There's a problem in this health area, I can be part of that. There's a problem in this education area, I can be part of that. Meet Mentors began from a passion that I had carried in my heart for many, many years. We've been around since 2018. Officially, we've trained hundreds and thousands of young people and done some training for other organizations. But how did it begin? It began when I knew within me that the gap between education and real world in Ghana at the time, which later I got to know was across the continent, was so limited. And so what could be done? What George alone, at least, what could I do to help bridge that gap? And I loved training people. I loved teaching. I was like, you know what? Mentorship could be an area to go. Before I left Ghana and came to study in Denmark, when I got my admission in Denmark to come and study, before I left the shores of Ghana, the university had assigned me a mentor, and the mentor had contacted me in Ghana. I was like, wow. I was at Legon for 4 good years. I did not get a single mentor for even just 1 semester. Here I am. A mentor has touched base with me before I even leave the shores of my country. Something might be in this. Over the time that I was in Denmark, I had a close relationship with my mentor. I moved to Canada, was at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. I came here, I saw several mentorship programs in the university supporting people. And I was like, wow, all these things were just pointing me to something that could be done. By the time that I had left, people were contacting me. Young people that I was training and helping back home would email me. Can you please help me, George? I want to do this. Give me some advice. Give me this. I felt like I can't do this alone. This problem is still there. Population is growing. Young people are abounding on our continent. What can I do? Let me put some people together. Meet Mentors became the organization. And over the years, it began with few friends, and they brought other people, and they brought other people. It has grown to be an organization that reaches our continent. I am not living in Ghana physically, but my impact has crossed Ghana to other continents. I was thinking of a problem that could have a solution. I was not just thinking of becoming, the founder of an organization. Although, as you find an organization, you become the founder automatically. It was because a solution could be reached. I got a message from a lady in Zambia who has been part of our program, and she has been chosen as the president of her faculty in her university. Yesterday, she was inducted into office, and she sent me the video. That makes my world. That at least I have not been to Zambia before, but the impacts and the solution of what we birth can help somebody in Zambia. I get all these messages that I read to you, like the one I read here. They come all the time. Think solution. And because of that, you will build knowledge and develop skills that can add value to you so that you can in turn add value to other people. And so education and what you are studying in school right now is not necessarily supposed to give you a job. That might look good, but that could still be living in the dark room. Your education should be a pathway to help you develop knowledge and skills and competence and value addition to be able to solve a problem. If you are thinking this way, if you're operating this way, you are in the bright room. And as I said, if you do a doctoral program, you're going to be called a doctor, but that is not your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is to come and help solve problems in society. Whether you become the CEO, you become the boss of a state enterprise or not, you are solving a problem. You are not thinking of yourself much more as you think of other people. And based on that, you will build strategic relationships. Some of the people that you have on this platform right now are strategic people that you want to keep this relationship with. You've got no idea 5 years after graduating, 10 years after graduating, where your friends here will be. I see Sekun here, I see Blaise, I see Nettie, I see Victoria, I see Ajikum, Prince, I see many other people here. I might just see them as names here, but I have no idea where Prince Opoku is going to be after 5 years from the time I'm talking with you right now. And so I value relationships. And Elias will tell you, I'm a very, very busy guy. I'm a busy person. I've got a lot of things on my plate. If I were to tell for you to see my office here, I've got a lot of things literally on my table. But I love to impact people because I have no idea where the people I'm talking to right now, where you're going to be tomorrow. Maybe one of you might be the person who will open a door for me to enter tomorrow. So you have to be very intentional about the relationship that you build. Be strategic. Don't partner with friends who waste your time and just let your life be messed up. When I came to study in Denmark, it was one of my friends from London who gained admission to that university that helped me come there. He knew I was planning on coming to study abroad. One day he sent me a link. George, there is this new program in our university, and it's in an area that you really want to study, because he had known me from Lagos. We're very, very, very good friends. He said it's a new program, and so apply. When I was applying, listen to this very well. When I was applying to the university, before this time, I had applied to so many universities. So many universities I had applied to and had not really gotten any good success. I applied to this very university that my friend sent me, and the university told me, you cannot apply for a scholarship to this program. Scholarships are not, this program hasn't got a scholarship attached to it. I didn't really care. I just applied to the program. Applied to the program. And long story short, I was given admission. I was given scholarship for the 2 years of my master's program, full scholarship. Took care of all my tuition. Every single month, they gave me stipend money to live on for the 2 years that I studied. How did I get that? A friend who had come to study in that university just emailed me a link, and that took me here. Strategic relationships. So if you live in a bright room, every connection you build, and I'm not saying be too much self-absorbed. Think of yourself in relationship. As you give to other people, as people give to you, you also give back. And this friend of mine, we've been friends for long. When I was in Ghana last time, I went with him. He's now teaching at the University of Legon, lecturer at Legon. We are still very good friends. He gives back, I give back. We are good friends. That is what I'm talking about. Strategic relationship. Look for mentors. Don't just pass through your university and go. Look for the professors whose vision and dreams align with yours. Find a way to build relationships that can take you to the next level of your life. Ask yourself, when I leave school right now, where am I going? What am I going to do? And who are the people who I would need to be there? That is how you build strategic relationship. And as they pour into you, you also pour into them. Iron sharpens iron. So this is the mindset you must carry if you want to operate from the bright room perspective. Please, let's move on to the next one. As I go, if you have any question, please put it in the chat, as I said. And then when we are done, I'll be able to take them. Sometimes you wait and then you forget. So if you are living in the right room perspective, eventually you are living in the place of purpose. Your passion is central. Your heart is in what you are doing. You are not just doing something to be able to get money. And let me say this very well, because I talk to a lot of young people across Africa, and most of them, 90% of them will tell you money is the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Please, let me challenge you here. Money must be a tool, okay? Money must be a tool in your hand. I've got a pen here in my hand. This pen is a tool. It has to be used for writing. That is the main purpose of a pen. Of course, it could be used for other purposes. In Ghana, we used to use pen to just, open our milk, tins of milk. I don't know whether we still do that. I mean, you guys are in university, you probably will still be doing it. But the main, yes, if you're doing it, please give me some emojis on the side. You probably will still be doing it. But the main essence of a pen is to write. Now, if you do not know that this is a tool, you can abuse it. Money is very, very good. Whether you want to be a millionaire, a billionaire, whoever you want to be, money is so good. But don't let money be the ultimate reason. If you get millions of cedis or dollars, what are you going to use it for? Remember, money is a tool. Money is a tool. What are you going to use it for? So when people say, I just want to make money, it's a wrong way to pursue financial breakthrough. And maybe you grew up in poverty, and so you think when you get money, you're going to be satisfied. Not really. Unless it is connected to an agenda, and I would say a good agenda, a godly agenda. So don't let the dream be, I just want to go to school, graduate, get a job, get money. What are you going to use your money for? That is when money becomes a good tool in your hands. So in the place of purpose, you have a good vision of where you are going. You know the problem that is in your heart that you want to be part of the solution. You know the friends you want to be. You have an idea of where you are going. That is how you live a life of purpose. Don't just try things here and there. And I'm not saying that you don't have to do, the next slide will talk about that. But no matter where you find yourself, let something be in front of you. I like to tell stories a lot. And there's a good story of a man named Abraham. For those of you who are Christians, you probably will be familiar with this story. But this man, there was a time he was confused about his life. I would say he had kind of lost purpose in some way. And so he didn't know. He was complaining, I don't have a son, and I don't know who's going to inherit my property when I die. And he was just nagging, complaining. And the story goes on that God calls him outside in the dark and tells him to look into the sky. And he said, what do you see? Just look into the sky. Can you count all the stars in the sky? Can you count all of these? And I love this story because for me, when I read that story, it tells me of purpose right there. Purpose and vision right there. And he said, if you can count all of these things, that's how your generation will going to be. Now you don't have a child, you are crying, but the purpose I want you to have, the dream, the vision is that you would have descendants that will be countless. Every one of you here must see something. When you close your eye, the eye within you must see something. What do you see? What do you see? Don't just go through school without seeing something. What do you see? That is the place of your purpose. And you might say, you know what, George, I don't know. Yes, it doesn't come in a day. It takes time to build. It takes time to build. It takes time to build. But in the process of the building, you must see something. You must see something. And so, if you have not seen something, you might be confused in your life. You've got to find a way to see something. If you are faith-based here, if you're a Christian here, I would encourage you to pray about that. Let God put something on your heart, because that is how you can see it. In the case of the story I just told you of Abraham, he told him, come look into the sky. Can you count the stars? And from that very day, the man got a vision. He got a passion to live and not complain and nag again. He knew that although at that time he did not have a son, in some years to come, he could not count his generations. And you and I know that, maybe know the end of the story. He was able to tell the generations that came even after him of this vision he had, and that carried them through their life. If you are familiar with this story I'm talking about, when the Israelites came into a place called Egypt, biblically, something there also talks about purpose. Joseph told them, I will die in this country, but when you guys are leaving, carry my bones out of this place. Now, the question I want to ask you is this: how did he know that they were going to leave that place? Purpose was in his eyes. He could see ahead of him. He could see that even though he was going to die, the people were not going to live in Egypt for the rest of their life. And so he said, when you guys are leaving, carry my bones out of this place. That is a man of purpose. That is a man of vision. So right now, you might be in hall, maybe studying in a small cubicle. That is not what should define you. Where you are going tomorrow is what has to define you. And so you can tell your friends here, look at me. And sometimes it might look like you are boasting. No, you're not boasting. Because of something you see, you know where you are right now is not what is going to limit you. So that is the place of purpose. Please, let's move on to the next one. I just want to be quick so that you can have time to ask questions. Yes, I'll address it when I'm done. Or maybe it could be answered whilst I'm going, because I'm going to unlock certain things there. So let's move on to the next slide. So now that you are finding purpose or trying to, this is what I call the pathway of purpose. This is it. Sometimes when I do training on purpose, people ask me this question. So George, are you telling me that if I haven't found my purpose, I shouldn't do anything? No. So this is the quote here. Purpose begins with doing well anything your hands find to do, but it does not end there. It journeys through a process of making intentional choices and taking actions based on a definite vision of an assignment. This is the pathway. So let's say right now all of you are students, so you are studying. Let me pick an example. Maybe somebody is, let's say, a janitor. In Ghana, we call it a cleaner. You're a cleaner. The fact that you are cleaning today does not mean that's your purpose. It could be your purpose if that is what you feel God wants you to do and do it well. But the fact that maybe you are cleaning today, but you graduate and be, let me use the term, maybe a medical doctor, because I know most of you here are, medical science in the field. If that is your vision, the place you are will not limit you. So back to the question of how do you still find purpose even in the dark room? How you find purpose in the dark room is that when you're in the dark room, you can't find purpose. Leave the dark room and come to the bright room. As long as you stay in the dark room, you will be limited. You will be limited. You will be limited. The friends around you are toxic. They are all toxic. They are not helping you. Your mindset has been bound. You have been closed. They are not freeing you. The conversations you have are all limiting. You can't find purpose in the dark room. Leave, be intentional, leave the dark room and come to the bright room. In the bright room, like where you are right now, you are in the bright room right now. So you are moving into a place of finding purpose. And in this world, I believe in miracles. I'm a pastor in addition to the thing that I do, but I'm going to tell you here, miracles alone, the world has not been built to operate on miracles. Miracles come when human effort is limited, but miracles are not the ways that things naturally happen. And so if you are living in the dark room, you have a choice. That is the thing God has given to every person. You've got a choice. Be intentional that you want to leave the dark room to come to the place of the bright room. So maybe start. Read books that you had not read before about purpose. Look for seminars like this, webinars like this, and attend. Talk to people who you believe have found their purpose. Or ask people, have you found your purpose? Do you really know what you're doing in life? Some of them, you will know them. Talk to them. So you need to make steps to come out. Ask yourself, what kind of mindset have I carried that have limited me? Ask yourself all the things that I talked about in the dark room and intentionally begin to live. As soon as you leave the dark room and come into that thing will be taken off and you'll be able to see. Until you see, you can see. I know it's quite, interesting, but the point is, until you see, you can't see. And the example I gave of Abraham, until he saw, he couldn't see. And so God was like, come out, come and let me show you something. And after God showed him that thing of, the stars, he was like, oh, now I can see. So, Kingsley, until you see, you can't see. And many people think they are seeing, but they are not seeing. And so leave the dark room and come to the bright room. When you're in the bright room, I can promise you, it will take you maybe a couple of weeks or months or maybe years, but you will find your purpose. And so the pathway of purpose is that maybe you are not doing, and let me even say this. Some of you maybe are taking courses that don't really align with your purpose right now, and you don't like it, and you're confused, and that's okay. Learn it with all your heart. Do it with all your heart. You're welcome, Kingsley. Do it with all your heart. You are gradually building skills until you find something that you want to position yourself in. Whatever your hands find to do it with all your heart. There is a path that leads you to the place of purpose, and you have to be able to walk through that. And sometimes in the place where you are doing things you don't love, you build character. Sometimes you build some relationship. You're able to overcome some emotions, some challenges. You learn some things that you would not naturally learn. For instance, if you're able, maybe let's say you grew up in an environment that is from a home that is very affluent. Financially, you have all the things that you needed. I'm telling you, even though sometimes it looks like it is good, it can be a problem. It can hinder your development of character. And so sometimes, for you to be able to live a life of purpose well, you have to forgo some advantage that you have to build character. And sometimes you find yourself in a place that is not very pleasant because that is helping you to build character. But the thing is, in the process of all of this, don't lose sight of what you are seeing. Don't lose sight of what you are seeing. If there's something you want to take from me today, that is it. Don't lose sight of what you are seeing. When you close your eyes, what can you see? Always ask yourself that question. When I close my physical eyes, what can my internal eye see? You don't dream with your physical eye, you dream with your eye of your mind. What can you see? And that is what takes you there. Precious said, how do I know if I'm actually seeing? Oh, that's a good question. So there are many things in there. I am sure by the end of my session, you probably will get to know that. So maybe you can pick that. A follow-up question to your answer. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. How do you know whether you are really seeing? I'll talk about that. Please, let's move on to the next slide. Now, so I've put here some pillars of purpose, and that will help whoever, Precious, this might help you here. Pillars of purpose. I said purpose, what you were born to do. Okay, so how do you know you are seeing? The middle point here is vision. Vision is a clear picture of the end in mind. That is how you know you are seeing. Right now, if I haven't been to, maybe I've been to Ho once, I guess, but that's many years ago. Yes, I've been there once. But if I'm leaving Accra to go to Ho, okay, Precious, please listen very well here. You want to know how whether you are really seeing. If I'm leaving Ghana, sorry, I'm leaving Accra to go to Ho, whether I know Ho or not, there is a picture of Ho in my mind. And for those of you who have been to Ho before, let's say wherever you come from, let's say you come from Accra, you're going back to school. When you pick a bus from Accra, because your destination is Ho, you have a picture of Ho in your mind. If the bus stops in between, what are some of the towns in between Ho and Accra? I'm not sure whether you're going to use Akosombo. Very good. I have been there, like it's been a very long time. So if the bus stops at Akosombo and they tell you, everybody get out, you will not get out. Why? Because you know you're going to Ho. So pressure, that is how you see. How do I know if I'm actually seeing? Once again, when you close your eyes, ask yourself this question. When I am dead and gone, because we're all going to die at one point, when I'm dead and gone, and somebody walks to my tombstone in a cemetery, what would I want them to write about me? Or if I am dead and gone, and the people are talking about who I was when I was living, what would I want them to say about me? Think of that. Think of that. Let that be the beginning of the picture in your mind. Begin from the end, and then let the end help you define where you are going. It's just like you are leaving Accra to go to Ho. Think of Ho before you. If you are not thinking of Ho, you might pick a different bus. You might pick a bus that is going to Koforidua because you're not thinking of Ho. But as long as you are thinking of Ho, when you go to the bus station, you will pick a bus that is taking you to Ho. So in this same way for your life, maybe you are 20 years now, 19 years, 18, whatever your age is, 24, whatever your age is, think of yourself, you know what? Maybe death might be too scary for you. So let me just, change that. But if you can do that, that is going to be the best for you. But let's say when you are in your 50s and people are talking about you, what would you want them to say about you? That will give you a clue of where you want to go. And that will give you a clue of what you can see. I have always dreamed that I will be a person that will impact the lives of people through knowledge sharing. It has always been me. Over the years, even when I was at Legon, if you talk to my friends, they will tell you. Of course, I've done many other things. But at the center of all the things that I do, I love to share knowledge. I love to develop knowledge and to share knowledge. I love to touch the lives of people. I love to bring people to a place where they are not just living anyhow, but they're living in their God-given purpose. So that is the picture I have in mind. And that will help you to know how to have a mission for your life. And so that moves on to the third one. What is mission? Basically, it is strategy. When people say mission accomplished, in other words, strategy has been implemented. The steps and all the practical actions that take you to your vision. So now that you know you are going to Ho from Accra, yes, Steve, I'll answer that. It's still use my analogy of Accra to Ho. Mission is if you know you are going to Ho and you go to the bus station in Accra. Let's say you go to wherever you go to Circle. You are looking for the bus that has got Ho in front, or you go to the Ho terminal. If the bus has got Sinyani, Kumase, Tamale, you will not go and pick it. Why? Because you know you are going to Ho. In other words, that is your strategy. So let me come down to you now. You are a student, you are studying. You want to become not so much the course you are studying and the degree they're going to give you. That is not who you are really becoming. And let me challenge you here. You are actually going to become somebody who contributes to the healthcare of people in the world. And the world could be in Ghana. Let me pick a good example. Maybe you grew up in a village, and in a village you saw that a lot of people had eye problems. And that's, the problem of people not getting good eye care really was a problem to you. It was something that burned in your heart. And so when you went to school, you didn't even know the course to study, but you realized that you love the sciences and you love human, anatomy and the physiology of humans. And so you studied that. But as you studied, you were thinking of the village, how people couldn't access health, eye care. And so with your skill in being able to study about science and human, you want to pursue a degree in that area, ophthalmology, to become somebody who deals with the eye, so that you can be a vision scientist eventually, to be able to go back and help, maybe beginning from your village, but then also moving on to help other people who cannot access healthcare regarding the eye. Just as an example, when you go through school, you study vision science like any other person, but you are a person with purpose, because you are not thinking of you just graduating and being called a doctor, but you are thinking of somebody who is going to solve a problem. And so your other colleague in the classroom might be thinking, I just want to graduate, start my business, make some good money. Of course, he's also going to take care of people. But what is the difference between that person and you? You have got people at the center of what you want to achieve. Not so much about you, but how can you become a channel to be able to help other people? Remember, problem identified, solution centered. And so that will become your strategy. Okay, now I need to learn about vision science, for instance. But because maybe I want to help people in a village, maybe I might start a nonprofit, and I don't know how to run a nonprofit. So either I build a relationship with somebody who also cares about people and can run a nonprofit, or in addition to taking my program in vision science, maybe when I graduate, I will take a diploma or a certificate in nonprofit management. So now you have a vision for your life different from your friend who is just studying vision science to go graduate, work, and get money. Are you getting the picture of what I'm painting? So that is how you set a strategy. So maybe, for instance, you graduate from school, you go and study a certificate in nonprofit management. People may ask you, but you already got a degree in vision science. You're a doctor of, why do you want to go and do a certificate in nonprofit management? You're not going to work in nonprofit field. They don't know what you know. And so because they don't know what you know, they can't see what you see. That is life on purpose. And so now let me see what Ajikun said here. Thank you very much. So my question is, for people that are multi-talented, that's a good one. How do they settle on a purpose without exempting any talent? That's a great question, Adekum. Adekum, if you are multi-talented, that is a good problem for you. It's a good problem for you. Each of your talents is good. And I don't think I will have enough time to talk about this, but in the nutshell, this is what I'm going to say to you. Don't let the talent lead you. Okay? Don't let the talent lead you. Let the problem that burns in your heart that you want to find a solution for lead you. Okay? I hope you get what I'm saying. So once again, if I were to use that same vision science and that thing as an example, because you know the problem you want to solve, you will know which of your talents will be used importantly to solve that problem. So let's say you can play soccer. You are very good at math. You are very good at science and all those kind of things. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a soccer player? You're going to make millions of dollars in your mid-20s, or maybe before you turn 30. You're going to be a millionaire or a billionaire. But what really burns in your heart is to train people to become entrepreneurs. So now you've got this talent and all of that. Okay, now you have to sit down and assess your options. What can really lead me there? First of all, ask, are there people who are doing what I really want to do? Because there are people ahead of you. So because of the problem that burns in your heart, we talked about getting your fire to run. If you don't have passion for something, even though the talent might be there, you will be demotivated in the way. Because no matter what you do, you're going to encounter problems. It is your passion that will drive you. It is your passion that will stir you up to go. When the challenges come, it is your passion that will push you. If you went in there just to get fame and to get money and to become popular, I'm telling you, when the problems come, you will drop it. So your passion is born out of the place where you want to solve a problem. And I can't say that enough. And so, out of all the talents you have, how would they come together to lead you to be able to solve that problem? And it will take time. Pick a pen and a paper, write it, write all your talent, write a problem you want to solve, and see how they come together. And sometimes you might need somebody to help you. Find a person that can help you connect them together, and that will give you a good mission statement for your life. I have my mission statement right in front of me as I look on the other side of my office. I've got my purpose, I've got my vision, I've got my mission, I've got my mantra. I have my purpose and vision statement in front of me as I sit here. And so when some doors in quote open for me, recently one guy came, he wanted us to start a business in some area. It looked quite good. It didn't fit my purpose. It didn't fit my purpose. I said, you know what? It's a good idea, but at this time in my life, this is going to be a distraction. How do you say no to good things? It's only when you know your purpose. And so that is it, Ajikum. Identify the problem that burns in your heart and look for the talents that really align with it. Some of them might be useful. So the example I gave about the soccer and all of that, if you want to really develop people, maybe you might want to go to school. The soccer, you might not be playing it as a game on the field, but because you have knowledge to learn, you can learn about whatever, football management. You're still in that same area. Most of the people who manage soccer teams and whatever, they haven't played soccer before, but they've got teams. It is still their passion in that area. So you must have a plan that leads you, and that is what we call mission or strategy. Stephen said, how will I know I'm on the right way of my purpose? So yes, you will know whether you're on the right way of your purpose. Once again, let's use the Accra Ho analogy. If the things you are doing will eventually take you there, that is how you know. If you pick a bus that has got Takrade on it and your plan is to go to Ho, you must know that you're on the right track. Oh, sorry, a wrong track. So the question how you know is ask yourself, the thing that I'm doing right now, are they taking me there? And sometimes you can't control certain things. The things you can't control, that's okay. For instance, you want to be a businessman and help people and you start a business, and due to political changes in your country or in your area, the business crashes. Don't blame yourself for that, because those ones you didn't have control over. That's not what I'm talking about. The ones you have control over, own it and possess it. So the way you get to know is whether the things you are doing every day is taking you there. I hope that is correct. Please, let's move on to the next. Let me end maybe in the next 5 minutes, and then I'll take some questions. I can talk about this all day, as you can probably can see now. So now that you've identified your purpose, or maybe you're in the process of identifying your purpose, you step out of the dark room, you've moved into the bright room, you've known your passions and your giftings and your talent, and more importantly, you found the problem you want to solve. One reason why most people are not able to solve or live on purpose is that they don't have a personal culture. And what do I mean by personal culture? I'm a sociologist by training, so I understand culture pretty well. In every organization, we have organizational culture, and that basically refers to the norms, the values, the beliefs, whatever, practice in an organization to support the achievement of your mission. Remember, I talked about mission just in the slide that we had. Mission is the strategy that takes you there. If you have a strategy without a culture, no, let me put it this way. If you have a strategy but do not have a culture that can support your strategy, you can't achieve your strategy. So for instance, a student must have a culture of loving to read, loving to learn, going for lectures, writing assignments. Sometimes it's not pleasant, but you've got to do it. That is a culture. A soccer player must have a culture of training and being very disciplined with how the diet they eat and all that. That is a culture. Boxers have got culture of sometimes reducing their weight for one fight. That is a culture. If you don't have self-control, you can't build a culture. And so organizations have got cultures. Countries have got cultures. What makes Canada different from Ghana is the culture. It is not the snow that we have here, even though we've got a lot of snow outside right now. It is not it is a culture. It is a culture. So Ghana has got its own culture. If you come to Ghana, there is, when I was in Ghana last time, oh my goodness, like as soon as you get out of the plane, you know you are in Ghana. It's noisy. It's things are like there's life everywhere. It's noisy, beat, boom, boom, boom. It's like, yeah, this is Ghana for you. You fly back here, you get out of the airport, it's quiet, you see people just give them high. You can live with a person next to your house, and maybe for one whole week or a month, you wouldn't even have seen them. That is a culture. So, what is your culture as a person? Every society thrives on their culture. The reason why some countries do not like a lot of immigrants to come there is one, not because they will come and take their money away. Money can be reproduced and overproduced. It is because their culture will change. And when the culture changes, when their culture changes, it changes who they are. Culture affects identity. And so, what is your culture as a person? Having known your purpose is not enough. Have value systems which define your worldview and your way of life. That is what will take you there. So I said your personal culture determines how you fulfill your purpose. Your personal culture determines how you fulfill your purpose. Have a personal culture. Be disciplined. Don't say because I live in Ghana, it's normal to pay bribes. Have a personal culture. You ain't going to do this. That is your personal culture. Don't say, oh, we're on campus. Everybody is doing this, so I also have to do it. Does it fit into your culture? If not, don't do it. Don't do it. Desmond said, okay, so I want to ask, I hear you talk about solving problems with your talent or what you want to do. What if mine is not solving a problem, but is bringing something new or something I really want to do? Desmond, that is the problem I'm talking about. So now what I will ask you is this. Yours is not solving a problem. You want to bring something new. What is that something new going to do? I wish you can put the answer for me in the chat box. So yes, I'm using problem and the solution from a very wider perspective. But if you are to develop something new, okay, so what example? What example? What example? Mobile phones. Before mobile phones came, we had phones, but the phones were called landlines. They could just stay at home. You couldn't take them with you in your pocket, in your purse, in your bag. No. So the one who designed mobile, you know the meaning, mobile is the same phone. So before mobile phones came, we had phones. But this one brought a solution of being able to talk in a mobile way. Okay, so Desmond, if yours is to bring something new, it's the same as what I'm saying. You will solve a problem with a new thing you bring. Healthcare wise, if you bring a new technology, it's going to solve a problem that the current technology we have is not solving. Somebody made a laptop, we can pick it and then move around. Before laptops came, we had computers, but you couldn't move them, right? So whatever you bring in new is still going to solve a problem. And let me shift your perspective a little bit here. When you think of bringing something new, okay, it makes it very you focused. I want to bring something new. I want to bring something new. But when you think of solving a problem, it makes you others focused. I want to help solve a problem in society. It's the same thing, but the perspective changes the way you approach it. The danger with, and I'm not saying that is you, I'm just saying, I'm making a generic statement, okay? The danger with trying to bring something new is that if you're not careful, it could be me-centered and it can evolve pride. Once again, I'm not saying you are, I don't even know you, Desmond. I'm just telling you, I did this, I made this, and especially after you become very successful in that zone, eventually pride can come in. I've had conversations with people who have done great things and have been able to sustain it to the end. And most of them will tell you, always try and flip it to make it others focus. It's the same thing. People might have billions of dollars and they'll tell you, you know what? It's not so much about me, even though they have got the money in the account and all of that. I want to create. I talked to one of my friends who is a business guy, very, very wealthy business guy. He said, you know what, George, the reason I do business is I want to be able to create jobs for people. Like, come on, that's a very simple way. You have made, like good money from business. He said, yes, but my ultimate goal is not that. My ultimate goal is to be able to create job for people. And so when I see that I can employ a man who can feed his family and have a good life, that makes me fulfilled. So even though we see him as a very blessed, financially blessed guy, he sees it on the other way. And that is a good way. When you make it people focused, it keeps you in check regarding how you can move on. So please, the next one, I think you probably ending here. Elias, please, let's take the next one. Okay, so um, one of my greatest mentors of all time has been Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory. He said, once vision is achieved, then mission is accomplished and purpose is fulfilled. Once vision is achieved, then mission is accomplished and purpose is fulfilled. So this is very good note. I mean quote, because I like how he packages it. Once vision, which is what you can see, is achieved, then your mission is accomplished and your purpose is fulfilled. Let me use the Accra Ho analogy again. Once the vision of going to Ho, once you get out of the bus at the Ho terminal, then your mission of getting on that bus has been accomplished. Therefore, your purpose of going to Ho is fulfilled. So that is what you have to keep in mind. And it is not as simple as maybe I'm putting it here, because life is a journey and many things will come in. You leave school, you start working here, you get transferred, or you start a business, you move to a different city. You change in many things. You get married, you get kids, you get a wife, husband. Life happens, health issues might come in. All those kind of things do come in life. It is not like one way, but always don't forget, keep that vision there. And the vision could morph along the way. It could change along the way. Be willing to yield, but don't lose track of a vision in your life at every point. Very important. Devon Franklin, a Hollywood star and author, he said, I define success as a deep sense of peace. And we find the most peace when we live out our true calling and fulfill the purpose we were created for. So how do you know you're working in purpose? There's a sense of fulfillment. Some people have got good big time and they're not fulfilled. Some people have got good big time and they're not fulfilled. Some people have got good big time and they're not fulfilled. I was in drugs. I was like drugs, high time. This is a big business guy, you know. So what I'm saying is that being fulfilled is not so much about having things necessarily. It's about touching lives through the things that you have or the things that you can do. And that is what purpose is about. And so as you go through school and as you learn all of these things, understand that your life is beyond you. One day you will go. People have come and gone. We can't have a mistake to think that we're going to be the only ones not to go. Where will you go? What are you going to leave here that can take you to the other parts of life? That is how your life should be. And you might say, well, I'm really young. I don't really want to bother myself with this so much. Well, you're not bothering yourself with this. It's going to keep the fire in you. It's going to keep the passion in you. And as people get confused and get challenged by political changes and all of that, and being all over the place on social media, wasting their time, you know where you're going. And that is going to set you apart from your colleagues, right? So purpose is important. Keep that in mind. Keep the eye, keep the vision, and keep going. Okay, so thank you very much. Probably will end here. I'm sure that this was my last slide. Thank you very much. The next one, I guess, was for questions. If you can put that one there, Lias. So yes, if you have a question, I know I've answered most of them here, but if there are any other, please, you can feel free, ask, and I will see. Kinsley said, please, can you tell us about failure and purpose? Oh, thank you very much. You know what? I really like this, Kinsley, because sometimes when we talk about purpose, and the point is 1.5 hours is not enough to, it's a lifelong pursuit. We all do fail at times. You know, I was talking to someone yesterday and she asked me, so I was telling her, you know what? We learn from our mistakes. The answer to the question is that Kingsley, we learn from our mistakes. But I was telling this person, I said, If we could go back 15 years, what would we do? And she was like, so you two, will you have done something different? I said, of course. Of course, I would have done something different. I'm not God. I'm human. Of course, I keep in touch with him. I live very much on purpose. But it doesn't mean I'm perfect. I still make mistakes along the way. What we learn to do is to try to reduce the mistakes that we make. But the answer to your question about failure and purpose is sometimes the failure will help you to learn so that you don't make a bigger mistake ahead of you again. Okay, so don't blame yourself when you fail. Don't blame yourself when you don't succeed in something. Learn from it. Ask yourself, what have I learned from this mistake that I made? And let that mistake, the knowledge you gain from the mistake, help you to be able to move on. And so when mistakes come, I have seen a lot of people who have been caught in their mistakes. And for me, like, as I said, one of the things that I do, I'm a pastor as well. So I get a chance to talk to a lot of people, young, old, whatever. It doesn't matter. I encourage them. If you see any soldier, any army general, you might really love all the titles they have on their shoulders and the ranks and all of that. But if you ask them to show you their leg, you can see scars. That is the reason why they have got all those badges. There is no army general without a scar. It is part of the process. And so sometimes you might feel a certain thing that you even put in your best. Ask yourself, what did I learn from it? And let that help you to move on. Precious, please, can you be my mentor? Precious, I get this question all the time. I get this question all the time. Yeah, so let's see how this whole thing will go. But Paul said, hello, Sam. Currently pursuing lab medicine. I also have passion for real estate. Community transformation, photography. Oh my goodness, you are a videography, farming, and I'm also eager to learn new stuff. Please, I'd like to know if these tasks are achievable, and if yes, how will I be able to manage all these tasks? Should I drop some and focus on one? Thank you. So, Paul, you know what I always say? Our educational system has to be reoriented. I wish some of this conversation would be had when people come to first year, or maybe before even they come to first year. I do a lot of I do speaking engagement for university during orientation, and sometimes after this, people go. Some of those in their third and fourth year, like, if I had known, I probably wouldn't have taken this program. I would have taken a different program, because the programs you take will develop your skill set to where you want to go. That is the ideal way of education. Our education should be built on our purpose. But back to what you asked here, John. Now you are studying lab medicine. You are doing it all your heart. And you do it with all your heart. Your passion for real estate, community transformation, photography. I will ask you a question. I know you've asked me a question here. I will ask you a question. You have told me what you are studying. You've not told me who you want to become. Studying lab science is just a course that you are studying. It doesn't necessarily define who you are. Sometimes it can define who you are, but I'm saying it doesn't necessarily. So you need time, especially somebody who is very talented and have many things on you need time. Sit down, and I have done this for myself. There was a time I asked myself, I said, George, you know what? For the years that I have lived, in which areas of my life have I been able to really impact people? At the time, I had degrees, I studied in Europe, in North America, I had traveled, I had at least some few things, at least some few things in life. But I asked myself, in which way do I really impact people? Because my heart is to impact people. If you tell me to do this from Monday to Friday every time, I can do it. And that's why I love to do this stuff. I realized that it is an area of my passion. At the time, I still had meet mentors. I was not so much involved in a lot of training. I had many things that I was doing. But since that day, I began to invest more of my time in training. I began to invest more of my time in training, in developing courses, in some of the things that I'm talking about here, like this dark room perspective and bright room perspective. I didn't take it from any book. It's my own research and my own inventions in the area of training because it flows out of me. So, Johnson, the question is this: your course is not what defines you. You must know yourself first. And I'm not saying you're not going to be a doctor of lab science or whatever, but sit down, look into yourself. Who do you really want to be? If you can ask the question that I ask you, give the answer to that. By the end of your life, or maybe when you are in your mid 50s, who do you really want to be? And maybe in a real analysis, you might realize that the lab medicine is not so much what will define you. Maybe it's the real estate. It doesn't mean you should quit school right now. No, I'm not going to say that. Finish your program because you're going to gain knowledge, but then you invest more time in what is really the area that you want to go. Okay, so the photography, and you said community transformation. What does that mean? What is community transformation mean? There is something in that place when you say transformation of community. What kind of community is it? Is it in the area of medicine? Is it in the area of business? Is it in the area of photography? Is it in the area of real estate? Housing problem is a big one in Ghana. Is it the place you want to go? So don't let the programs you study define you. Know yourself, even independent of the program, so that the program will be a pathway to strengthen you with skills to do that. I hope, Paul, I answered your question. What I'm saying is, don't be quick to drop something. Know yourself, know who you are, know what you want to achieve, know the people group you want to touch, and then based on that, you will know which of these things can help you. I think I answered the same question for another person at the initial time. Know who you are. That is very, very important. Your identity is a way for you to live your purpose. Because sometimes we don't even know who we are. We don't know our identity. In the book I'm writing, I'm talking more about identity because you see, until you know yourself and value yourself, nobody will accept you and value what you bring. I'm saying that again. Until you know yourself and value yourself, nobody will accept what you offer, accept you and value what you offer. So identity is so big. I've lived in Canada for quite some time. People talk about racism and all of that, and I do agree it's a problem. But you know what? I tell them, George, I've grown beyond that. I've grown beyond racial limitation. I can't do this because I'm black. I have grown beyond that many, many years ago. I know who I am, and that's not pride. I know what I can offer. If I meet you, you're a white person, I don't care. If you are somebody I can talk to, I will talk to. I train white people. I talk to white people. They are friends. I don't care. But the point I'm saying is because I know who I am and I know what God has given me, what I carry, I don't let people look down upon me. So, Paul, know who you are. Know what you want to achieve in life as God leads you. And then based on that, know how these things will come along. So, it's not something I can answer in a simple way because you've got many things. Maybe you want to be a community transformer by mobilizing young people to get into farming because you love farming here. It can help you. But once again, know the impact you want to make and the impact will direct you. Bliss said, what are some common challenges people face when trying to take action toward their purpose and how to overcome it? Bliss, I guess you probably can answer this for yourself. What people, most common challenges, family pressure. You've got to do this in school because your daddy did this and your mom did that. It's a big thing. It's a big thing. And sometimes it's hard to navigate. You might have heard of the story of the guy whose dad wanted him to be a medical doctor who went to school, did medicine. After that, he came home and gave the certificate to his dad and said, Dad, I'm done with the medicine you wanted. Now I want to go do what I really want to do. So it's family is a common thing. Environment, Ghana is the place where you guys live now. And so it's a problem of, you know what, if you do this, you can't find a job. And so people go and do. I always say a lot of the people with all for nurses, my wife is a nurse. I'm not saying anything bad against them. But when I see a lot of nursing schools, springing up and everyone wants to take their word to nursing training college, I ask the question, Are all these people really going to be good nurses? No wonder sometimes nurses don't treat people well. They don't have a passion for the job they are doing. And once again, I'm not blasting nurses, I'm just picking one as an example. Because people want to do something that can give them a job so that they can live and survive. That does not necessarily mean that's their passion, the area of passion. Nursing is somebody who has to, people have got a passion to care. They are those who have to be in nursing. So one of the challenges is if you do this, it can't give you a work easier. It can't give you a job easier. So I want to go do this. And maybe that is where you can start from. Remember the quote I gave, somewhere in the middle. Whatever your hands find to do it well, but don't stay there. Now that you are getting to know about purpose, gradually create a path that can exit you out of that place so that you can live in the place of your passion. Maybe you are a nurse. I'm just picking that randomly. But as you went there, you realize that you really had wanted to get into photography, for instance. Now, because you've got a background in health, can you begin to do photography in health? Around the COVID time, there was a medical student from Nigeria who became very popular. And the guy was an artist. He loved drawing. He loved photography. He was studying medicine in Ukraine at the time. He identified that almost all the medical books they were using, all the images were using white people. And so as somebody who loved art, he began to draw similar pictures with Black and other colored people around the world so that he would challenge the stereotype that were being captured in medical books. It blew him all over the world. Remember this, he was a medical student. What really gave him access to global platform was not the medicine, it was the art. So you see how the whole thing comes down. But he was able to identify a problem, once again, problem. The problem was that all the medical books had white people being captured in the images. And he, doing medicine and loving art, brought his art skills into the field of medicine, and that gave him access. He was interviewed all around the place. So once again, if you have other talents, see how your talent pieces together, in the bigger vision. But place, family challenges could be one, environment could be the other thing. Financial challenges, sometimes you want to go to school, there's no money, all of that. So these are common challenges. It is individual based. There are bigger, geographical and environmental ones, but sometimes too, individuals some people don't have any mom and dad at home to encourage them to go to school. They might see that as a problem, but that could also be a good one because then they can pursue what they want to pursue. They will not be forced by parents to do something they don't love to do, right? So these are some of the challenges, but I think maybe one that I would say is because most part of Africa, money is a problem, there is a hunger for quick money, and that could also be a problem. Whatever you see that is fruitful has taken time to build. You see me talk here for almost 2 hours, just ranting here and there. No, it didn't take me one day to be able to get there. Everything that you see here did not take a day. So time is important. There should not be that rush to get money. Your parents are putting pressure on you. Finish school, go get a job, come take care of all of us. Yes, I believe in the blessings of God financially, but any good thing takes time. So give yourself time. Maybe the last one here, Christian. I'm a student in life sciences. I've got passion for engineering as well. Please how do I go about this? So you are doing life science, you have passion for engineering. And sometimes it's hard to just give an answer to this. Maybe when my book is out, because in the book, I really break a template of how you can look at your personality, look at your passion, look at your pain, which is the problem, and how you can weave that together to know your purpose. So, Christian, my background is not so much in the lab science area. I don't know the details of it. Engineering, I understand it's also, when you say your passion for engineering, engineering is broad. Which kind of engineering? But the question I would say simply is, within the field of lab science, is there a need for an engineering? Is there engineering? For sure, I know there will be, because lab uses, machines, instruments, and all of that. Research more about some of the engineering challenges in that area. Research about engineering flaws, challenges that exist in the field of lab science. And as you research that, you will find some of the areas that your passion for engineering can help you get into. Lab science is broad. Once again, don't limit yourself to Ghana. You can just Google this. What are the engineering problems in lab science in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, in America? Just Google will give you a lot. Begin from there, search, and you'll find something. Daisy said, what are some essential qualities of a leader who is living a purpose-driven life? Oh, that's a good one. Essential quality, they've got vision. They know where they are going. Once again, the Accra whole analogy, they know. They've got a mission. They are not just jumping on any opportunity that comes their way. They have a passion. They are self-motivated. They don't wait for somebody to come and motivate them. It doesn't mean they don't get into problems, but they have a sense of self-motivation, even if nobody comes. Sometimes they are very innovative, be able to innovate things, but innovation here could also be many things. It doesn't mean they will produce a new iPhone or a new Samsung phone or a new laptop. They are innovative in their own area. So let me give Meet Mentors. That's kind of where I've come from. When we began Meet Mentors, a lot of people told me before we started, George, you're living in Canada. How can you pull people from all over the world to have a mentorship program? It's not possible. Ideally, you have to be in Ghana to be able to do that. I said, okay, thank you for your point. I'm not going to do that. Through my own process of thinking, reflecting, praying, and all of that, and I realized, you know what? We have technology. How can I leverage this technological platform? This was before COVID. And so the world had not really evolved so much into online trainings like this. We began, and eventually I started getting people calling me from New Zealand, Australia, all of that coming. I want to come on board, emails and all of that, because I was innovative in my own way of creating a platform that could do that. So the qualities of a leader who are purpose driven, they have innovation, they have a vision, they've got a passion, they know where they are going, they know how to build strategic relationship, because they're always thinking of, when they see people, they don't just ride on them, they don't use people, they partner with people. These are a few that I can say for the sake of time. Oh, Daisy, now you've got a lot of questions here. How can we ensure that our vision and mission statement are authentic and reflective of our true purpose? That should be a whole training. That should be a whole training, Daisy. But how can you ensure that your vision and your mission statement are authentic and reflective of our purpose? So I'll use the three words you put here to answer that. Vision, mission, purpose. You said true purpose, which is a qualified purpose. Now, how do you know whether it's an authentic one? The question is, your vision is where you are going. Your mission is what is taking you there. Your purpose is that at the end of the day, that is what you have entirely achieved. Remember the quote I said before. Now, whether it can be authentic is this. I'm still going to use the Accra Ho analogy. If your vision is that you're going to Ho, what bus are you going to take? So if your vision is to become an engineer, but then you went to school and you're studying social science, sociology, and geography, the mission is wrong. The vehicle is wrong. It's not going to take you there, right? So if you have a vision, no, let me give myself as an example. My purpose is to help the development of people, development of the potentials and the purpose of people. That's me. I love to talk about that. My vehicle is through education. Okay, my mission is through educational platforms. So I do training, I write books, I speak at conferences, I preach, I do seminars, I do webinars. These are my mission paths that take me there. My ultimate purpose is that at the end of the day, I should have been able to pour into people, train people, help them to know their purpose and to be able to work in their purpose, live a life that is purpose driven. Let me tell you, in 2008 or 9, I was still building this whole thing. I didn't even have a good picture of it. I remember I probably would be at Legon at the time. And I started this group called the Purpose Family. I just love that word purpose. And so I remember sitting down, okay, what are we going to do as a Purpose Family? We're going to go to schools and we're going to train people and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I put all of this together. I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was still trying to figure out. And so when I left Legon, we would go into high schools and do training and all of that. These were the things that I was doing. And so the vehicle is your mission. it should take you there. How do you know it's authentic? Ask yourself, will my mission, which is my vehicle, take me to my vision, which is what I can see? If your vehicle is not going to take you there, revise the vehicle. If you pick a bus that is going to Takrady and your vision is to go to Ho, you got to get down. If you are at Winneba, at least get down at Winneba, get back to Accra, pick another one. Don't sit in it for it to take you to Takrady. The more you go, the more you waste your time. So you're going to come back. Last question here, I think. Paul said, thank you. Question is answered. Appreciate that. What do I have? What do I have to do if I have multi visions, but I don't have enough capital to start out? Stephen Nete. Stephen, you know something I'm going to say? I like the fact that they say money is capital. Money is not the only capital. And I know sometimes when we answer questions like this, it looks very harsh. But as I grow in life over the years, I've realized that what we need most is not money. I'm not going to underrate that. What we need most is not money. So still, what I'm going to ask you is this: what do I do if I have multi-visions? That alone, I don't understand what you mean by multi-vision. Like you have many things that you want to do. This is what I'm going to tell you. Get ready. Get ready. Don't let the visions you have stay here. Get ready. Do you have them on paper? If you were to meet somebody right now who says, okay, Steve, I want to start one of your visions with you tomorrow. Do you have a concrete plan to show the person? Get ready. When you get ready, the door will be open. I believe you probably will be a Christian. Pray. It is God who connects people. But most of the time, we keep all the ideas. I've got this. And I talk to young people, I hear that all the time. I don't have this. I don't have money. Sometimes when you sit with them, you begin to quiz them. I'm not saying that is you, Stephen, because I don't even know you. But when you sit down to quiz them, they have not even put any idea to them. The ideas are just sitting here. When you begin to ask them critical questions, you realize that there are potholes and lapses in the idea. And so thank God you are still in school, okay? Get ready to look for strategic relationships. Look for strategic. Sometimes it might be a person you meet who can talk to somebody who can open the door for you. So get ready, get your papers, everything, type them nicely, even if you have a type, whatever, write them. Make sure that the Bible says, and I do this because once again, I'm a pastor, so I draw a lot from the Bible. But in the Habakkuk, it says, write the vision, make it plain on tablet. One of the trainings I do is the Habakkuk principle. Is your vision plain on tablet? Like I said, if I can just go pull my purpose and vision statement and show it to you right now, it's right here. So how ready are you if somebody were to come today? Get that. Just like Solomon, God said, okay, tell me what you want me to do for you. If you were to get the same, how much are you going to ask for? Is it $1 million or 1 million Ghana cedis? And what are you going to use the money for? Plan. I'm going to put 500,000 Ghana cedis into this. Get all of that there. Make sure you are ready. Stephen, that is what I want to tell you. And you see that you'll find a door. I've got few minutes, maybe 4. Frederick says, please, is there, and you know what? There's not enough time. I know you guys are in school. I do this for like student orientation. I talk to a lot of schools in Ghana. If you want us to maybe, depending on your connections and all of that, orientation, get a system where we can to people on these platforms as well, so that we can, address some of these things very well. Frederick said, please, is there any way apart from praying to God by which one can find his or her purpose? Of course, I didn't say prayer is the only way. And I want to understand if there is a difference between your purpose and what you are interested in, for sure. So, Frederick, yes, prayer is not the only way. I use prayer because, you see, it's one of the peace I train with. For me as a Christian, and for most of you here, you probably will believe, you have a faith in God. You were not made by yourself. If I really want to know the purpose of this pen, I'm not going to ask Elias Nate because he's the CEO of Natcare. Even though he can tell me something, I'll go to the company that made this pen. Because the company will tell me before we made a pen, we knew what we wanted this pen to solve. If I pick this pen here and I pick this other, why are these two pens designed differently? And if I were to bring another pen, why are all these three pens designed differently? The feel is different, even though they are all pens. That is the point. You are also different. Somebody is tall, somebody is fair, somebody is. Your difference has a value in who you are. So prayer will help you to unlock that from the place of God. But that is not the only thing. There are many things. You look at your passion. You look at you want to look at your passion. What are you passionate about? You want to look at your potential. What strength have you got? All these things coming. So it's not only prayer. It's not only prayer. That's that. When my book is out, I will let you know further. I'll let you know because in that I explain things a lot and I put in some good template that can help you work these things out to lead you there. Right. Kingsley said, what are the qualifications one need to get before he can access your conferences? What do you mean by qualification? That was the last question, but I don't understand the qualification. It depends on the conference. I do a lot of training through Meet Mentors. We have different programs. I'm not sure whether that was where you were referring to, but if it is Meet Mentors, people would have to be at least high school graduates. But Elias will tell you when you apply, sometimes we do, not sometimes, most of it depends on the program. Some programs we do a lot of, um, we do a lot of selection. The process is a bit tough, but that is not the only program we do. So follow me on LinkedIn. You see a lot of the things that I do, and maybe some of them might be able. So yes, that's great. Follow me on LinkedIn. Um, Elias, you have my information. Please share with your team, and let's do that. So yes, I think we've talked for almost 2 hours. I thought I was going to do 1.5 hours, so we probably will bring it to an end here, and see. So yes, I'll hand over to you. Either is Elias or whoever was. Yes, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. George Sarkodie, for sharing your invaluable insights today. I've personally been impacted, and I think after this conversation, I'm pretty sure I know my purpose, and I know many of the other people on this call can say the same thing. I think your wisdom and experience are truly inspiring. And thank
Thank you.
you to the CEO of Natcare Africa, Elias Nati, for your leadership and vision and putting this together. For those who may not be familiar with Natcare Africa, Natcare Africa is an NGO dedicated to empowering youth and transforming Africa through leadership, mentorship, and education as well as health. We believe in the power of purpose-driven leadership to create positive change. For those of you who want to continue this conversation or to catch up with the things Natcare Africa is doing, I encourage you to follow Natcare Africa on all our social media platforms and join our upcoming events whenever you see the notifications. We are here to support your journey. Remember, finding your purpose is a journey and you don't have to walk it alone. Keep igniting your fire with the oil Mr. George Sarkodie has given us. Remember to lead with passion, and thank you all for being part of this wonderful webinar. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. And maybe before I go, Meet Mentors. We are on all the social media platforms. Please follow us as well. You see all the programs we have, and feel free to touch base. So thank you very much, everyone. God bless you and enjoy your weekend.
God bless.
Elias, my team is still working on that. So look for the updates we will bring. We are making some changes to it, but it's my team is still working on that. So you get some updates. Thank you very much. So maybe I can take leave right now. I guess you might want to have a meeting with your team, but thank you for having me. Appreciate that. Okay. God bless you too. Bye bye.
Hello, am I still okay? Wonderful. I want to say thank you once again to everybody for joining. I know some of us had network issues, but I think your efforts to stay on the call is deeply appreciated. And I know most of you have been impacted. I would like to encourage everybody on the call to follow Mr. George on LinkedIn so you can keep up with the stuff he's doing as far as Meet Mentors is concerned and as far as his mentorship plan and organizations are concerned. At this juncture, I'll hand over to the CEO to continue the rest of that. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, um, um, say to the deputy assessment. Um, yes, please. Also, say to the deputy student of the house and level 300 position. Thank you, sir.